All right, here we are on a cool and damp Saturday morning. I am in my skivvies here, just feeling absolutely comfortable, and just got back from a walk. And in my walks, I leave my phone at home, and things always come to me on walks, especially when it's in the morning. I woke up very slow, feeling very unmotivated, to be honest with you, and I was like, I need to just like leave my phone at home, go out on a walk, and just just be with myself, grab a coffee, get some fresh air, and see what happens. And things always end up coming to me, things that are on my mind. At the coffee shop, I actually ran into a gentleman that I went to high school with. I didn't actually recognize him. He recognized me, and um, you know, just asked me how I've been, and he was like, I'm just here with my wife and the dog, and the kids are waiting outside. And that got me thinking about where I'm at. And I do have a very specific way of looking at life, and I do believe that I'm very hard on myself, but also I have a lot of expectations, and I do see life and the world very differently from a lot of people that I grew up with. And that's what's led me to where I am and wanting to do this. But long story short, I when I hear somebody say that, I'm a single guy. I'm 36, and even though I've really learned to be comfortable with myself and to be happy with, um, what I have and what I don't have. When I talk to somebody like that, and then I realize that my closest buddies from high school, they're all married and they're all looking to start a family. My younger sister is married, building a family, and as much as we are all on our unique paths, that is just still something that I want. I want to be with a wonderful woman and raise children and build something together. And then it got me thinking, of course, that the dating situation in 2023 is just very hard to explain. It's not an easy world out there when it comes to dating and to expectations from men and women, and what certain women expect and what they put out there. And I can't really speak from what I see from men, because I go on dating apps and I'm looking at women's profile and all of these things, and I say to myself, man, it's really tough to be a single person in this day and age if you are looking to meet that special someone and you have certain expectations with what you want out of a partnership. Because in my 20s, when I was younger and more reckless and honestly gave less fucks, it worked out in a lot of ways to my benefit when it came to attracting women and to attracting girlfriends. So I find that when you do go inside and you do inner work, and your perception of life changes, you can kind of overthink, you know, all these things when it comes to relationships. But you have certain expectations. This person that you meet needs to be on the same level as you, needs to see life the same way you do, and all these things. But so I thought about what the dating world is like now for single people, and then I thought about what it is like for somebody with, or who has dealt with, chronic illness in their past, currently dealing with right now. And it really made me think of what it must be like. And I know what it's like, but I do consider myself to be, in a different place when it comes to the colitis and certain ways I've healed. But to be a man, to be a man in this day and age, and to have to deal with societal expectations and all these mixed messages, on top of the fact that you are a man dealing with chronic illness, or you've been diagnosed with Crohn's, colitis, inflammatory bowel, Those are the ones that I think of because that's what I dealt with for the last over 10 years. And it still does, I'm still overcoming some of these past beliefs that have been ingrained in me. When I was in my 20s having to deal with it, I was happy to just go on a medication that would mask the symptoms and cause this host of other problems. But I didn't care. I just wanted to put the Band-Aid on so I could live my life, so I could party, so I could be with my girlfriend and do all these great things, what have you. And now, I've over the last few years, when I decided to drop all the medications and to take a holistic approach and to start doing inner work. And when I say inner work, I mean, tapping into what your body is trying to say to you, really listening, doing things like breath work, meditation, saunas, ice baths, all these things to put your body into a shifted state. I think now I still have, like if a symptom comes up and I don't panic anymore, but I'm still hard on myself in the sense where, okay, I've gotten to this point. Why is this happening? And the key is to just allow it and to let it pass and to know that you're safe. But to be in the dating world when you are very self-conscious about these symptoms, about these possibilities when it comes to health disturbances, as a man, I understand why a strong woman with strong desires and intentions and expectations, I understand why they want a man who is strong and is masculine, confident, assertive, knows what he wants, and isn't wishy-washy and can make decisions. I understand why any woman would be looking for that. But I can only speak from a man's perspective, specifically my own. Being a man who is obviously striving to achieve all of those things, but dealing with symptoms and an illness that actually completely takes you into the opposite direction. This is really for the men out there who are dealing with that and who have these symptoms emerging, and they're trying to attract a partner. They're trying to put themselves out there in the world and present themselves in a certain way when these symptoms and this illness is really getting in the way. So I want first of all, I want you to know that the expectations that we put on ourselves to be this man, to be this type of person, and to almost think ahead and to feel the need to present ourselves in a way or to impress somebody that doesn't technically exist yet. Maybe you're single and you don't have a woman in your life, but you do see this perfect image of who you want to attract, and you're losing confidence in yourself because you're like, well, I can't get this girl if this is the way that I'm presenting myself, and if I'm still dealing with these symptoms, and if I'm still in this type of situation. But that really is taking you away from the now, and the only thing that matters right now is the present moment. You hear great athletes talk about why would they worry about, like it was Michael Jordan who said, why would I worry about a shot that I haven't taken yet? When they asked him, how are you never stressed when you take that last shot in the game to win the game? He's like, why would I think ahead and worry about a scenario that hasn't happened yet? And that's really how we have to be in life. And it's much easier said than done. But I really do feel for the men out there who feel this way, because it's you can go through these ebbs and flows of feeling really confident, and maybe you haven't had symptoms in a while, and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place. I think I'm starting to master this thing. I can put myself out there. And then if the smallest thing happens, maybe it's something that happens to a normal everyday person, where you maybe feel that little tweak in your gut, or you have to use the washroom, anything like that, you can really just put yourself back into this loop, this negative loop of, oh my God, here we go again. And you can bring yourself down. And I really want you to understand, if you're watching this as a man and you resonate with this, that's the one thing that you can't do. You have to just take that deep breath and say to yourself that this is okay. This is temporary. This is happening right now. I'm going to handle it in this moment, and then I'm going to move on from it. Because letting go, which is so hard to do when you have something that's been with you for however many years it's been, letting go is the hardest part. And letting go for me was one of the biggest challenges, but it's been one of the greatest decisions I've learned to implement into my life. So I think I want people to understand that, as a man, when you're in that state, it's not easy. It's not easy for us to be that type of man all the time, when we have these not only expectations, but also if we're dealing with some sort of chronic illness. And I think in my 20s, I was really good at masking not only the symptoms, but masking the emotions behind it. And it caught up with me. And I'm in a place now where I've recently, I really hid for a long time. It was like almost 2 years of me. I would maybe go on like one date, or I'd meet somebody, we'd hang out, and it would just be very, very brief. And I would never push it past the point of that. And it's because I knew that I had a lot of work to do still, and I wasn't ready. And now, within the last little while, the last few months, where something's just, my heart's been telling me that I'm ready again to put myself out there. I look back and I'm like, it's okay that I took all this time, but now that I'm ready, I'm coming across, like I mentioned earlier, this new age of dating, where it's like dating apps. Of course, I mean, I dealt with dating apps in my 20s as well, but I don't know. I think it's because I was like more of a corporate minded guy, and I associated my happiness with my job and my salary, and all these things. I was comfortable on dating apps, and I did actually end up matching and meeting with more women that way. And I think now that I'm more of a whatever you want to call it, spiritual minded, intuitive minded, somebody who's gonna put it out there, like, this is the way I am, like it or love it. Dating apps are not for me. And I've gone back and forth, where I've deleted them and I've re-downloaded them, and it's never the solution. Because meeting somebody in person, in an ideal scenario, where it's just like a natural attraction and things happen, that's of course the ideal scenario. But in today's world, that's not always like that. Those situations don't necessarily present themselves to you on a regular basis. You really have to be putting yourself out there. And I think if that's kind of a message of this video, is that you're going to have to put yourself out there and overcome this discomfort that you've been facing as long as this illness has presented itself to you. And I've been in situations in my life where all my confidence was gone, because it was all based on my physical appearance, and it was all based on how I was feeling. And I have come across men in this space, especially the top guys who were really helping people heal from Crohn's, colitis, through like diet, lifestyle, of course, mindset, all these things. they had to get to a place, and I also had to get there, to a place where you can be at your absolute lowest, you can be wasting away, you can lose all your muscle, you're not feeling confident, you're not feeling assertive, you're not feeling like a powerful man, but you are going to have that self-love and have that confidence, and you're going to find that within you, that when you tap into your heart, when you tap into what's underneath all that bullshit, that you're going to love yourself through it, and that you're going to find this confidence and find this power, this strength that's there. It won't matter what other people think of you. It really won't. And if you can get to that place, when you are healthy and strong and you've made a bounce back and you're feeling your best, you are going to be unstoppable. Honestly, you're going to be unstoppable. And really, that's where I want to see men who are dealing with this. I want to see them there, because this it all ties back to, like, I believe that you got this illness, you got this, whatever you want to call it. I don't even like using the word disease. Your body was handed this to you for a reason, and it can be your greatest teacher to get through those dark moments and to get through those times of just self-loathing and darkness, depression. Like those are meant to happen. You are allowed to feel that way. But if you can get past that and understand that you went through that for a reason, to get you where you are now, like I said, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to attract women into your life. Just get to a place where you can start putting yourself out there and feeling into the discomfort. I've made videos in the past where it was about, feeling into the discomfort and, almost like going through the resistance. And I didn't really tie it back to Crohn's or colitis, but I believe that these moments are your teacher, and I believe that is a huge part of the healing process. So the moral of this story here is that the dating world is tough, and the dating world is tough for men. I'm not saying it's not tough for women, but I can only speak on behalf of myself, my fellow men, especially guys that are dealing with serious, significant health issues. It's tough out there, but bring it back to you trying to find that self-love, that inner strength, that inner power that's there, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of how you think you look, regardless of how much you weigh. Find that, and then don't rush it, but slowly work your way towards putting yourself out there and going through these uncomfortable situations, because it's going to come for you. It's going to happen. And I'm not saying you can't use dating apps. I'm not saying maybe you don't do well on dating apps. But for me, maybe I've met some great looking girls there. I've met some girls that were, at the time, good people, but it never resulted in long-term success for me. Of course, I know I have friends who are married and they met their partners on dating apps, and they're wonderful. I've noticed a change in the last few years, based on whatever's happened in the world, and just based on how people are, and this, like I said, the mixed messages that are out there for both men and women. But being a man in this day and age it's a complicated road. That's where I'll leave that. If you found this video helpful and you want to talk, and you want to just share anything about your dating life, or how you think you're coming across to women, maybe some successes or challenges or failures you've had, hit me up, send me a message. Would love to hear about that. And send me a DM if you want to work together, because I'm just looking to connect with guys that are dealing with any type of any type of chronic illness, but most specifically Crohn's, colitis, IBD, IBS, because these are you have to really be have to really allow yourself to be in vulnerable situations to get past that, the hurdles that these illnesses can present. So thank you for listening. Love you guys, and hopefully we can connect.